Hello everyone, and hello to spooky season. Yes, I practiced that 5 bazillion times. I'm Carmiel Marceline if you're new, and I love talking about plants. Today though, we are dialing up the creepy, the weird, the eerie, the mysterious. Some of these are succulents. By some, I mean one, and the majority of them are flowers. But all in all, they are freaking creepy and will get your blood to run cold. Plant number 1, black bat flower. One icon that is the most synonymous with Halloween is the bat, and in medieval folklore, it was believed that bats were the familiars of witches and would carry messages to and from the devil to the witches. But don't worry, bats and its plant doppelganger, the bat flower, are far from demonic. The black bat flower have these long wing-like bracts, kind of look like whiskers a little bit, and these seed pods that mimic a bat's face. The color ranges from maroon to purple to black, and it can be found natively under the tree canopies, the understory, of forests in Southeast Asia. It thrives in a semi-tropical environment with lots of warmth and humidity. While you can try to grow these at home, it's very important to recreate its natural environment, which means you need to give it warmth and humidity. You want to make sure that it is warm about 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what that conversion is in Celsius. Sorry. And you want it to have well-draining soil, and you want to keep that soil moist. Because this plant lives in the understory of forests, it's important to give it partial shade and indirect light. We all want to display bat flowers in our home. Unfortunately, if you cut the flower, it does not survive very well if you display it in a vase. So just something to keep in mind. Plant number 2. Corpse flower. While I shared information on the corpse lily in a previous video, Pixels to Petals Pokemon, I will link that up there for you. Don't you worry. This flower is equally as grotesque. The corpse flower is the largest on a single stem in the entire plant kingdom. Crazy! It grows natively on the island of Sumatra in Indonesia. And the spike can grow so big, it can go up to 12 feet. And when it blooms, it reaches a diameter of 5 feet. Its blooms are rare and unpredictable, often taking 7 years or more to accumulate enough energy for it to bloom. And when it does bloom, the flowers unfurl, shrivel off around the base of that spike, and it reveals a beautiful purple color. And this process takes anywhere between 24 to 36 hours. It emits a very grotesque odor. Think of rotting flesh, rotting fish, and smelly feet mixed all together. And it does that because it wants to get pollinated by the insects that are native to Sumatra. And those are flesh flies and certain beetles that are attracted to that stench. Given how meticulous the care for this plant is, it's very difficult to have it thrive in your own home. It's also close to becoming extinct given habitat loss and destruction. So if you do want to see this plant, there are many botanical gardens throughout the country that do have their own that you can watch bloom. That way you also don't have the stench at home. Plant number 3, a ghost pipe. While we've been made to believe that ghosts aren't real, they are. Let me tell you, they exist on the floors of conifer forests in North America and Canada. These ghost-like plants have stems that are between 4 to 8 inches tall, that have that trademark ghostly, ghoulish, white, milky color, and a nodding flower that looks downward like a grim reaper. Ugh. Unlike any of the other plants in this video, this ghost pipe plant doesn't need chlorophyll to give it nutrients. It's quite interesting. This plant has short, stubby roots that contain this specific type of fungi that they use to create a web that connects to the roots of a conifer tree. And the fungi is what transports that nutrients to the specific plant. Given how intricate this process is, it's very hard to recreate this exact environment at home. There was one instance of them being able to recreate it in a lab, but let me tell you, it is not worth it because you need not only the right environment, right, the right soil, the right sunlight, the right moisture, you need the right trees that have that nutrients, and you need to inoculate the plant with the right fungi. So good luck with that if you try. Plant number 4, living stones. We're taking a quick break from flowers to talk about a succulent, living stones, or lithops. And these are very tiny. They grow no more than an inch big, and they look like colorful tiny pebbles or stones, hence the name. And you can find it natively in southern Africa, where it's got a cool, arid, rocky climate. Their appearance has evolved in order to protect it from grazing herbivores. It's got this flat top appearance that look like windows that essentially will drench itself in sunlight to collect chlorophyll so that it can live even underground. To be honest, they look like colorful little brains. Ugh, gross. And that's because of its need to conserve water, because naturally its climate doesn't get enough rain. It gets maybe up to 4 inches a year. So a little gross, but very fascinating at the same time. Caring for these at home is both simple and quite challenging. You want to make sure it has well-draining soil. You also want it to have more than 6 hours of direct sunlight. If it is during growing season, you can water it with little dribbles, very little drops of water, and make sure that that soil is 100% dry. Don't give it additional humidity. Normal room temperature humidity is fine, because if you give it too much moisture, it will rot the stem. Plant number 5, a bleeding heart flower. Hope you enjoyed this succulent intermission, because baby, we are back to flowers, and this time we are talking about a dark red dripping heart. It gets its name from the idea of unrequited love. Ugh. How heartbreaking and bleak. You can find it natively in Asia. It's got these really adorable puffy pink heart-shaped flowers that dangle on a long stem, and then another white petal underneath that heart shape to look like a little drop of a liquid. It can grow between 1 to 3 feet high, and it blooms for several weeks, and after that it disappears for the rest of the summer. Bleeding hearts are sensitive to extreme heat and strong winds, so be careful where you place them. They like well-draining soil and partial shade. You should water it when the top inch of the soil is dry, because they like to be moist. Plant number 6, doll eyes. Also known as a white baneberry, this visually striking plant produces fruit that look like white balls. And they also have this purplish dot or pupil on them. Think of a really creepy doll and their eyeballs. Gross, am I right? And also be careful, you don't want to touch them because they are poisonous. You can find this plant natively in the Midwestern or Eastern part of the United States, and it can grow up to 2 feet high, What's also great about this plant is that it is not invasive, so it doesn't spread quickly. It also doesn't overtake any of your existing flora. So how you take care of them is you make sure it has partial shade, it's given well-draining soil, and it's watered just enough so that the soil is continuously moist. There you have it. Those are 6 spooky plants. Did any of them send shivers down your spine? The doll eye one definitely did for me, because I can just imagine any of those Halloween films you see where it's just a jar of all the eyeballs. Ugh, gross. Well, if you did like today's video, hit that like button. It would help me and my channel so very much. And comment below if you want to see a part 2. There are so many more spooky plants that I'd love to share with you. And if you want to be notified every single time I post, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And I really hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for spending it with me, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!